change is no longer seen as an environmental issue. It's also seen as a central policy issue that requires attention from the financing aspect as well.
We've come to Jakarta to meet with the Ministry of Transportation, which is showing us where some of those invested funds have gone and now are delivering benefits for the people of Indonesia, for the environment, for the health of our planet.
Up until 8 or 10 years ago, you would look at finance really from an international perspective. Where is that international finance going to come from to enable me to meet my climate change targets, ambitions, etc.? And what the work of the UN agencies through PEA as well as other initiatives have managed to do is to change that discourse. And because of the cross-cutting nature of climate change in all of its dimensions, it means you're also affecting other sustainable development goals.
The governments were really involved in the whole process. So we were able to build on what the governments had done so far. And then on top of that, we came up with a solution under the PEA.
In 2014, during the second phase of Poverty Environment Initiative, Indonesia began to implement what is called climate budget tagging, a technique of analyzing its national budgets to see if funds were being allocated to address the climate crisis. That experience led Indonesia to invite Poverty Environment Action to help advise on where investments could be made to strengthen Indonesia's implementation of the Paris Agreement.
Because the impact of climate change is differentiated for men and women, it is important to take into account gender considerations when you are thinking about a budget that's climate sensitive.
We started what the so-called as the climate budget taking responsive gender, where we may include the gender action into the climate budget taking, where each initiative of the government that been allocated in terms of the budget.
Under PEA, beginning with the closure of PEI, Indonesia successfully launched a multi-billion-dollar green sukuk, or Islamic green bond program, inviting investors to join in funding activities in infrastructure supporting the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. One such project is the Central Railway Station, which is doubling its capacity so that safer, greener transportation can bring passengers from outlying regions into the capital city with a lower carbon footprint and more efficient scheduling.
Saya lebih menyukai orang lebih mudah menggunakan transportasi di Jakarta, mempercepat dengan menggunakan kereta api, karena kereta api daya tampungnya banyak, jadi banyak penumpang yang bisa terangkut. Saya merasa senang.
We've also accepted an invitation from the Directorate of Sea Navigation at the Ministry of Transportation to visit Jakarta's northern harbors and travel by boat to the sites of lighthouses and buoys that are now powered sustainably through solar panels.
Without the reliable navigation system, there's a possibility to have a collision or incident on the waters that can cause the damage to the environment.
One thing we've learned from during PEA was that not only UNDP and UNEP, but across the UN system, agencies are working increasingly on trying to think how do we mobilize private and public finance for their specific SDGs and other development partners as well. And I think for me, one big takeaway is there's a real need for the UN system to better coordinate the delivery of sustainable finance to UN teams, but also governments in the region.
Indonesia's experience with green bonds has also inspired other countries in South Asia and in sub-Saharan Africa. A direct exchange of experience occurred between the government of South Africa and the Indonesian Ministry of Finance on the Green Sukuk as a model of how capital could be raised for sustainable development.